Sup flappers, welcome to another video. So as we have it today, we got to talk about something that's been happening with the CN community. Now I've been sharing this with my chat already. We've been talking about it and we've watched a video made by a CN content creator. I was kind of going through it and translating it for chat. Now if you guys are interested in this type of content, make sure to subscribe. Join us on live streams happening Wednesdays, Saturdays, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We always have a lot of fun. But today we got to talk about Itto and the drama that he essentially has stirred up. I think Itto essentially was the last straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of the CN players because of one small detail, his constellations. All right. And you might be wondering, what on earth does Itto's constellations have anything to do with pissing people off? And it doesn't really have anything to do with Itto himself directly. It has something to do with other characters, mainly Xiao. All right, so comparatively between these two characters, I would say they both have their pros and their cons, but it has been brought to the attention of many players that Xiao is a character that miHoYo has really mistreated in many ways. So if you don't play Xiao very much, or if you don't even own a Xiao, it's very difficult for you to understand the gravitas of this situation right now, essentially. I know I'm like kind of smiling at, but my heart does go out to the Xiao players, right? And let's go over what is happening. And again, I will link the person's video in the description below, so if you guys are fluent in Mandarin or you can understand Mandarin, feel free to go check out his video because he can describe it the best. Now I'm just paraphrasing and translating it for you guys. So the problem essentially is, for the past multiple iteration of the Abyss, Xiao has had a very difficult time, right? Especially for people who own C6 Xiaos. Now, as much as I know you guys spit on whales and just be like, puh, huh, spending money in a single player game, disgusting. We have to understand a more fundamental problem here, which is if you are spending this amount of money on anything, you deserve a product that is functional, at the very least comparative to other products of the same lineup. All of these 5-star characters are essentially equal with each other, right? So their C6 in a way should be treated equally. But unfortunately for Xiao players, their C6 has a condition. And that condition is they have to hit more than one enemy. Now, for all content in the game that is slightly challenging, there's always only one unit involved. And that is just one boss, right? The weekly bosses. We have even some of the regular bosses. Magu was one that the CN content creator pointed to constantly, saying that it was so unfair for Xiao having to deal with the Magu and its mechanics. On top of that, there were iterations in the Abyss where they took the Anemo Vortex or the Anemo Spectre, they slapped it in there, and not only does it have complete Anemo resistance, but the floating mechanic, so Xiao mains couldn't even hit it. So now let's leave that all aside because that was just the preface to the main issue. The main issue here is looking at a character like Itto and his constellations, you can see how well it kind of just flows together with each other. C1 into C2 into C4 into C6. It's like a Lego piece that goes together to create one beautiful Lego statue. And then you have Xiao's constellation, which literally feels like duct tape with nails and screws that just were put together, and then you get this piece of thing and miHoYo's like, look, it's abstract art, and that's his C6, right? It's so absurd. I've been talking about this for so damn long that people, we need to understand that there is a difference nowadays. miHoYo is improving their game design. The dev team, I don't know if they've swapped their dev team, but miHoYo is certainly making adjustments and improvements. But it leaves something to be desired, right? If you are a Xiao enthusiast, Xiao player, and even somebody who wants to pull Xiao in upcoming reruns, understand Zhao constellations are some of the most confused abominations in this game. Apart from like Venti C1, you'd have to give the cake to Zhao constellations. It is unfair that you have to jump through all of this to get to a C6 that has such a restrictive condition, meaning you have to hit at least 2 opponents. What piece of content in the game that demands C6 even has 2 opponents? I could be wrong. Maybe in the future they're going to release something like that. But in all honesty,
Princess
right now
Peach
my heart goes out to
though, in
the
most
Zhao
gacha
mains.
games, year 1 characters tend to age horribly.
Right, and as Princess Peach here points out, it could be a scenario where it's just time for the new era of characters to usher in and remove the old. But I can't help but feel that if this is how MiHoYo is going to weed out some of the whales in competition here, like what's next? Characters like Eula were released later than Zhao, but yet still in their constellations they leave much to be desired. And while improvement is always good, we should encourage this. We also have to wonder, right? How many more people at this rate are going to bend over to get C6s for characters, knowing that potentially, let's say in the future, MiHoYo releases a mechanic called Awakening, and you can just straight up awaken your characters. And awakened characters could be, you know, just as good as a regular C6er. I don't know, right? I'm just pointing things out, saying like power creep does not exist solely in damage numbers, solely in damage screenshots. It could exist in places such as constellation trees, where utility-wise, characters can just feel better, just do more to provide for the gaming experience. I think going forward, we need to be looking at this more closely, evaluating characters not just because of their damage number, but also how they play. What type of content that are they restricted from? What type of content are they going to benefit from, right? Whereas Zhao at his peak, damage-wise, I think he can still beat Itto. If you get a group of enemies, you plunge, he's still going to out-DPS Itto. But realistically, how often do you run into those situations nowadays? Is it not always just big, strong, high-resistance mobs, one of them or 2 of them, or straight up just throw a boss into an abyss room and call it a day, right? So really, we have to be asking these questions, and especially for you, the players who are pulling for these characters, and if you're thinking, oh, maybe I should go for C1, maybe I should be going for C2, you really have to weigh your options here. How much value is there really in those constellations? You want to end up like Zhao main. I'm sorry, I don't want to be taking jabs or, you know, hitting people when they're down, but you don't want to end up in a Zhao situation, right? It is a form of power creep. This is a power creep that I think most people didn't expect to see. So please comment down below. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Do you even see this as an issue? Do you see this as a good thing? Maybe some people are like, you know, finally, MiHoYo making advancements, making improvements into character design. Sure, the older players are going to be suffering more because they've invested into these older characters. Now newer characters are just so much more fluid. Sure, I can respect that. But going forward, I would feel hesitant to invest into constellations unless I know that they're truly worthwhile. All right? And so should you. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys in my live streams. Hope to see you guys in future videos. Comment below, please. Share your thoughts. And yeah, thank you to chat for co-hosting with me. And until next time, urge y'all to stay safe and peace. All right? Bye-bye.